goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Here out of turn 4.
Tries to slam the door, but they sends him right back up the racetrack.
Big moment for Boney between him and Dexter. It's Ryan Kuhn yet again out of turn number 4. He's going to win for a second time in the Misfit Touring Series. But it's all about Christian Peterson out front. 9 top 5s, 9 top 10s, 4 times he's finished runner-up. But tonight, it's the first time win here in the Touring Series.
Christian Peterson, after 17 races, finally gets it done.
Coming down to near the finale. Tonight is one finale. Next week we will have another. Tonight is the finale of the Triple Crown Showdown in season for the Misfit Touring Series Season 3. We've run 2 others throughout the season, and now we're on to the final one. It has been 3 extremely different tracks, and it is on racemrl.com, all presented to you tonight on V-Speed. We're going to have a great one from Richmond Raceway. We're out in Virginia. My name is Scott Shive. I'm joined alongside by Gavin Grubbs, as well as our producer, Morgan Cook. It is going to be a fun night for all of us on V-Speed. Only 2 more races remain, Gavin, for the Misfit Touring Series Season 3. And with that, we've got Richmond, and then we will close out this season at Stafford 1 week from this evening. It has been Kyle Terzak. He has been the story of the season. I don't think there has been a night or a week that we have not been mentioning his name. Last week, one of his worst races to date of the season. Before that last race, he had not finished worse than second. Last race, he finished outside of the top 10, but he is still 105 points clear after a 20-point penalty for some misconduct last week. And that, Gavin, with that 20-point penalty, has allowed this fight. It may not end tonight. We may go down to the final race between Peterson and Terzak.
Yeah, Christian Peterson did a really good job capitalizing on Terzak's mistakes, closing that gap last week. And coming down to these last two races, Christian Peterson has one job, and that is win. Kyle Terzak has one job, and that is limit mistakes.
Win at all costs for Peterson and limit mistakes for Terzak. One of them will be your champion this season. Jake Grout, we could say he's not truly out of it, but it would have to be two horrendous weeks for Terzak and Peterson. But Grout is absolutely in contention for the Triple Crown Showdown Championship. The points as they stand, obviously the Triple Crown Showdown stands with, you want less points. You don't want the most points, you want the least points. Kyle Terzak currently only has 2 points. Jake Grout has 5 points. And what that means, Gavin, is that for Kyle Terzak to win, he has to finish 3 positions above Jake Grout. And for Jake Grout to win, he has to finish 3 positions above Terzak. So, 2 different and big championship storylines for you and I to talk about and watch all of this evening here at Richmond.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of storylines, 2 different championship battles going on, as well as Richmond being one of the biggest tracks that we can bring a late model stock car to and have a good race. This is a 3/4 mile track, D-shaped track. Our finish line's a little bit earlier in the front stretch. It's not quite at the center of the apex. It's a little bit closer to turn 4 than this turn 1. And, you know, that D-shaped oval, you have to race it like a corner a little bit, all the way from turn 4 to turn 1.
You know, I never really noticed that about the start-finish line, and that it was offset, not quite in the center of that front D-shaped oval. So it could play into a factor, especially getting off turn 4. You don't have as long of a run to the line. Let's talk about your starting grid this evening. It'll be Michael Wiseman qualifying up front, fast time, a 21.928. And we're looking for the invert number as we speak. Larson Parker puts down the second fastest time in his number 18 car. Third will be Evan Hassler in the 38, won a couple weeks ago. Could maybe make it a second this evening. Christian Peterson, currently second in the championship, will be starting in that second row as well, in fourth. Behind them in fifth will be Tanner Berge in the number 35, then the 49 of Jake Grout. Following behind them in the fourth row to be Travis Owens in the 02, as well as Brandon Elvis in the 54. Good to see him back this week, rounding out the top 10 this evening. It'll be John Leday in the 22 and Brandon Atkinson in the 15. The invert will be 8. So that means that your drivers on the fourth row will start up at the front. Gavin?
Yeah, and then starting outside of the top 10 is Thomas Dean in the 71 car. He's in 11th. Kyle Terzak rolls off 12th. He did not make a qualifying lap. And starting at the tail of the field is Kyle Adams in the 24 car.
Yeah, Adams will be doing race control this evening. So I think he determined himself not to race this evening. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. He's really been sticking to race control this season, making sure to keep the season as good and as amazing as it can be. And I do want to say that because we did hand out some penalties last week after it was a little bit of a rough end to the finish of the 125 laps at Langley. It is a season-long suspension, only 2 races until the end of our season, so it's not too long for them, but they won't be able to race again until November when we come back for the 4th season of the Misfit Touring Series. It's a season-long suspension for Landon Atkins, Greggy Long, and Trevor Ward. So it'll be a momentary break for them, and it is a 2-race suspension, or at least 1 for Aiden Millette. And it was just a 20-point penalty for Terzak. So, of course, he is racing this evening. So we doled him out last week, and we did that for a reason because we want to remain clean as much as we can. We get racing accidents, but again, Misfit Touring Series, we want it to be the best of the best late model touring series. Open setups as always. That's one of the special things. And 100 laps this evening to cap off the Triple Crown. 2 tire sets available. We don't normally get tires, but we do this evening. And of course, as always, 3 green, white, checkered attempts. So Gavin, tire strategy is going to be something that we will talk about this evening, and we haven't talked about it pretty much all season.
Yeah, tire strategy is going to come into play tonight, especially if there is a caution. And also these open setups, this being one of the biggest tracks on our schedule, one of the highest speed tracks, the margin for error on creating your setup is small. Your setup has to be perfectly dialed in tonight.
Now we don't talk about the setups too much, not as always. It's a very important factor. I think it'll be extremely important this evening because obviously Richmond, not a place known for late model stock car racing, so it took some creative liberty for these drivers to figure out this. This is the first time I believe we've ever raced here in the Misfit Touring Series in all 3 of our seasons, so it was something for all these drivers to figure out. All right, it's Brandon Elvis up front, along with the 6902 Travis Owens, excuse me. Let's go green for 100 laps at Richmond and cap off this Triple Crown showdown. Elvis maintains the lead from the bottom row. Owens will move into second as of this moment. Now that's Grout moving in. Owens stuck up on the high side. He is falling back quickly.
Yeah, Owens lost as much track position as you can possibly lose here in 1 lap. He went from the lead row all the way back to 11th and almost 2 seconds off the leader now. As our field looks like they're using the draft just a little bit down the back straightaway there.
Could it be a little aero draft coming into effect this evening? All right, another battle in the mid-pack. Michael Wiseman, he's back there after qualifying with the fastest time. Still sitting around the 8th spot for him. He's moved up 1, now in 7th. It's Evan Hassler, Larson Parker duking it out behind the 35 of Tanner Berge. Here comes Kyle Turzak.
Yeah, he started at the rear. He's already picked up 3 spots from the start, and we're only 4 laps in, so expect him to be up towards the front here pretty shortly.
Battle for second is on. Christian Peterson looking inside of the 49 of Jake Grout. Grout will stay up on the high side. Berge looking to fill the hole with his 35 machine.
Yeah, I like the aggression out of Berge there to try to get in behind Grout, because the more you're using that top side, the more your tires are going to wear out. You don't want to do that early on in a run.
Grout able to fall in line. Now it's Berge under attack from the 38 of Evan Hassler. All the while, Brandon Elvis has been able to control this race out front and save his stuff because, again, we'll have to see how tires and fuel will come into play this evening.
Now, with the lead he's building up, I don't know if I would say that he's saving his stuff because he's got to be pushing pretty hard to be building this lead like he is.
About 0.3 of a second lead in front of the 71 of Christian Peterson. Side-by-side battle between Tanner Berge as well as Larson Parker in the 18. This is the battle currently for the 5th spot between the two, and now it's Grout. He's been bounced out by Hassler, but will find his way down in line, that bright blue 49. Gavin, how important or really how much do you think these right side tires are going to wear over the course of a run with the aggressive banking for these late model stocks? It seems like with these tight corners, you're really going to be hammering it in on that right front on entry.
Yeah, you got to drive a late model stock harder than you think you do anyway. That's one of my biggest weaknesses in this car is I like to underdrive it. And so I think the tires are going to wear out pretty heavily. So expect to see some fall off here. Not super soon, but, you know, maybe 30 or 40 laps into the run.
Little tight for Grout. He's going to get into the wall. Same will for the 18 of Larson Parker. I think Hassler got into it first, and Grout kind of followed him into the wall. That bright pink and green machine is Evan Hassler. Again, he's been promoted up to 3rd after starting outside of the top 5. So he's been moving fairly fast. Again, he's got 1 win on this season just a couple weeks ago back at Lanier, and that was quite a wild race that he won. Let's check in on Kyle Turzak. We don't have to far back while Larson Parker and Berge were going at it for 5th. 15 if Terzak's been able to catch up with the both of them. He's battling for 6 now with Parker.
Yeah, he's just doing a really good job hugging that yellow line, especially through 1 and 2. Just making that momentum work as you see him clear the 18 of Larson Parker.
So as of now, it would be a tie between Terzak and Grout for the Triple Crown Showdown Championship. And if that is the case for Terzak and Grout, the tiebreaker would go to Terzak. He has 2 wins in both of our Triple Crown races so far. So even if Grout was to get the win tonight, it would not be enough to break that tiebreaker. So as we stand with the tiebreaker, if we finished as we were right now, it would go to Terzak. But now, Grout under attack from the 35 of Berge. And if it went this way, it would go to Terzak. Naturally, a little bit of rubbing there between Grout and Berge.
Yeah, I've been noticing that 49 car just seems to be pretty tight off the corners. He's either having to lift out or steer a little bit extra down to keep it off of the wall. So either his tires are wearing out early on tonight, or he's hit the wall one of these times just a little bit too hard and has just a tiny bit of damage. But it seems like he's having to work just a little bit harder than everyone else to maintain his position.
Seems like we've seen him get tight off the corner just a couple of times. So Jake Grout might not be loving the setup under his machine. Still running within the top 5, but it's Kyle Terzak right behind him. Terzak 9 wins on the season. If he were to win tonight, he would tie the record he set last year with the most wins in the Misfit Touring Series season. He would tie it again at 10. If he won the last 2 races of this season, he would set a new record for most wins in a season at 11.
Hey, we got a pass for the lead going on up here. Evan Hasler to the point.
There you got it. You got it. Evan Hassler up to the front. Elvis will give it with ease. Just trying to ride in line. Honestly, I like that call for Elvis. Don't push it too hard this early. If you feel like Evan Hassler is going to go by you, let him on by. Don't let 2 spots get lost. Here's John Leday in the back. He's fighting with Brandon Atkinson as well as Michael Wiseman. Wiseman, I'm kind of surprised to see him back here after posting fast time.
Yeah, but you know, with these open setups, short run and long run speed, you're probably going to see some contrast as we see Grout get into the wall just one more time and make contact with Terzak going into 3.
What do you think about dirty air, Gavin? You mentioned the draft. You mentioned maybe drivers starting to use that and using it especially maybe down the back straightaway. What about dirty air? Can you use that with on your opponents this evening?
I think you can a little bit, especially as the cars are going to get tighter, because in a late model stock, your right front is going to be the tire that wears way more than the right rear. The way these cars drive, how much they're planted into the track. So as the cars get tighter and tighter, dirty air is going to be more and more noticeable.
Dirty air could be a factor this evening. You can see it. We're riding along with currently 2nd place. That is Christian Peterson. We were watching out the rear view mirror at Tanner Berge, who has made his way up to 3rd. And I think you're seeing on Brandon Elvis that new Charger nose. We're starting to see it around the iRacing community. We're starting to see it in real life this year as that Dodge Charger nose has made its way into real life racing. I asked where Michael Wiseman was. Well, he's starting to make some passes now. Larson Parker has fallen back a couple positions from the start of this race. Wiseman looking to move forward. Watch the hands.
Oh, a little bit of counter steer there. Really off center. Car really upset with him. And if you look at the gap to him to the 18 car right in front of him, he lost a lot of speed out of turn 2 there, fighting the racing car.
So much so that John Leday has been able to get to his left rear quarter panel. Leday looking for the spot. Again, this battle with Wiseman is for the 8th position. And yeah, you can see Wiseman absolutely working it out of the corners. So we talked about maybe Jake Grout being a little tight, but we can definitely say that maybe Larson Parker and especially Michael Wiseman are on the looser side. That goes with what is a driver like? Our friend Drew King, he loves a tight race car, but some drivers don't just drive them the best.
Yeah, tight race cars to me are frustrating to drive sometimes, because whenever you're used to driving a car that's handling like you want it or driving on the looser side, you're used to having that, I guess, being able to get to the throttle early. When it's tight, you have to get to the throttle late. And at a track as big as Richmond, the more off-throttle time you have, the more you're going to lose on that car in front of you.
Gotta have. What was that? Lackadaisical, the word from Morgan Cook. And I couldn't even say that one myself. I'll leave that one all to Morgan. We're gonna have a fun night. We've already had a fun night when we are almost already 1/4 of the way through this race, and it seems like the passes are getting harder and harder to generate, Gavin.
Yeah, you're talking about Morgan saying lackadaisical. He's from up in Canada. Me and you are down south. We just call that lazy. We just say lazy down here in the south.
We definitely do. All right, Terzak, he's looking for another one inside Brandon Elvis now. This is for the 4th position. Up next, it'll be the 35 of Tanner Berge. But it is the 15 of Terzak absolutely clicking them off. And again, if it were to finish right now, he would be your Triple Crown champion. And in 1 week's time, he would be able to go for a championship for the season. Riding along with the 54 of Brandon Elvis at this time. Watch the hands, a little bit of counter steer there, but I don't think he is as loose as the 74 of Michael Wiseman. This is after he just got passed by the 15 of Terzak, but just watch with him. It seems like getting out of 4 is an easier challenge. I think getting out of 2 is really the rough spot for anyone that's loose, Gavin.
Yeah, when that banking drops off to flat out of turn 2 here, it doesn't matter what car you're driving. It can get loose. It'll get away from you. You better be ready for it.
Well, and there's the dip. There's the aggressive just change in the banking going out of the corner and onto the basically flat back straightaway. There's a good bit of banking on the front straightaway, but it is near flat on the back straightaway. This is riding along with the 71 of Christian Peterson. And again, we mentioned it with the mistake from Terzak last week at Langley. Peterson is definitely within range of this fight, especially if he was to get a win this evening. Again, it would have to be a 100-point difference between the two of them. It would have to be a 103-point advantage for Kyle Terzak to lock up the championship this evening. So that's something we're watching with as well. But it would have to be an absolute terrible night for Christian Peterson for that to happen.
Yeah, Christian Peterson has to capitalize. If he wants a shot at this championship, he has to win this race and not worry about what Kyle Terzak's doing. You got to do your job in order to get to victory lane. You don't need any distractions. And if you're Kyle Terzak, like I was saying earlier, just don't flinch, don't mess up.
I think as the run is going on for the 18 of Larson Parker, it's just getting looser and looser and looser. Qualified second, but obviously with the invert, went back and started in 7th. He gained a couple positions, was all the way up to 6th spot, but it seems like he's been under attack from drivers around him lap after lap after lap here as of recent. 32 laps in the books. Now on to lap number 33. And it's Parker who has fallen just a couple of spots from where he started this race. Wiseman, he's trying the high side, it looks like, up in front of them, and he's wheeling it too. So 33 laps now in the books, Gavin, and you've got 2 tire sets available. I would imagine that we just will probably see 1 pit stop this evening, if we do at all. We're talking about green flag pit stops. I think if we get a caution, drivers will absolutely pit, but I don't think they can make it all the way on fuel if we ran green.
I'm not sure. It's 75 miles is 100 laps here, so that is gonna be cutting it close, I think.
I don't think we can make it on 1 set of fuel.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised
3 wide.
if people tried to do it.
Sorry.
3 wide.
Larson Parker taking it down in the middle in between Atkins and Wiseman. And Wiseman, he tried that high side and it did not work out for him. Larson was able to take the brunt of it and get the most position because of it. Wiseman lost 2 after that.
Yeah, we were talking.
Oh
Whoa!
My goodness, you can see how loose Parker is.
Yeah, Wiseman and Parker, neither of their cars are. Let's just ride along and watch.
Seriously, riding along with the 18. Let's take him for a lap as Atkinson tries to squeeze him up high.
fighting for his life in this car right now.
And the high side's just not going to make it any better. Atkinson is going to solidify that spot with a fair amount of ease. And now Wiseman's going to look to attack on the low side. But again, they're battling the same issues, so it's going to be a harder pass for the 74. But Parker at contact with Wiseman because of how loose he was in the center of 3 and 4. They're going to be wheel-to-wheel down into 1.
Now, if I was John Leday right now, I would be terrified watching these two cars in front of me as Christian Peterson's going for the lead.
Peterson, he has been slow and methodical. He dominated last week at Langley, and he did it after restart after restart after restart. It was not just a coast and cruise to the victory. And after starting inside the top 5 this evening, he didn't go for the race lead at a fair amount of speed. He didn't go out and charge for it. He has taken his time, and that car has just looked settled right on the yellow line as Parker continues to lose position. John Leday going up towards the high side. Parker, it seems like he's just aggravated those tires. They're probably overheated now, and it doesn't look like he's taking his time, Gavin, to cool them down. Oh,
yeah,
my goodness,
he about went around right there. Just absolutely drifted all the way through 1 and 2. Looks like he was driving a dirt late model and not an asphalt late model there.
Checking in on 2 drivers at the back of this pack, Travis Owens and Thomas Dean. They are 4.6 seconds back from 10th place Larson Parker. So just the setup not going their way this evening. You saw Travis Owens in the O2 start up on the front row, and we saw how quickly he dropped outside of the top 5. And so just wanted to check on them for a minute. Back, just farther back from this pack, just running their lap times. Now we're jumping all the way back to the front. Peterson, just a 10th and a half right here behind Hassler. But look at how Peterson can hold and ride that yellow line. I think that's going to be to his advantage as we continue to grow later in this run. We're already 42 laps in the books. They're clicking off, Gavin.
Yeah, we started noticing tire fall off for some of the cars that were more ill handling around between lap 20 and 25. But Christian Peterson, we're on lap 43 right now, and his car is as stable as it was at the start of the race. And he's not pushing any issues either. He's just riding right behind Evan Hassler right now. He is putting himself in a wonderful position for the second half of this race.
Yeah, fall off for these leaders, about a 10th and a half, and for everyone else, it's a little bit more than that, about 2 tenths, maybe even 3. So not too much fall off at this point, and that will leave our question, I think, Gavin, to fuel. I think if these drivers know that they can't get all the way on the fuel, then they'll split the difference, and we'll see drivers pit around the 50-lap mark. If they think they can make it all the way, I think we'll see drivers stay out. So I think it'll be, do we see a lot of the drivers in the pack hit around halfway and let us know that they won't be able to make it all the way on fuel, or do we see everyone stay out?
Well, as we talked about, there's not much tire fall off. So I would just run it as long as I possibly can, take as short of a pit stop as I can, and just get right to the finish on as little gas as possible.
I like that. I like that. Do you think, I think with the little fall off, I don't think that relegates a 4-tire pit stop, especially if we were to be under green. Do you think drivers take 2? Or do you think it's fuel only and go? Larson Parker, you can see him having an issue. I'm surprised he didn't go around sooner. Will remain green as race control's watching the situation, but yeah, he was so loose. We saw how many times he was just loose into the corner, gets the wall off turn 4, and down here into turns 1 and 2, it's gonna not go his way. Brandon Elvis will make the note as well, coming to pit road as we're in live shot, but this is Parker just tagging the outside wall after going around in 1 and 2. Luckily, race control was able to make note of the situation and didn't deem it relevant enough to have a caution. A lot of things switching up in the past couple of moments. Christian Peterson was also able to take the lead away from Evan Hassler.
Yeah, Peterson has the lead now, and Berge and Terzak picked up a couple tenths on the leaders while they were sitting there fighting for the lead. But as you just mentioned, Brandon Elvis going to pit road. You're going to start seeing drivers pit if they don't think they can make it on fuel. You mentioned a 4-tire pit stop. I don't know if I like that call. In the late model stock, you're looking at a little bit over a 20-second pit stop to take 4 tires, and around, I think, a 12-second pit stop to take 2. So that is half of a lap here. I don't think you can afford to take 4 tires.
Well, and I would agree with that as well, because if it's me, if I'm one of these, if I'm Christian Peterson, I'm taking no tires. I'm taking fuel only and getting out of there as quick as I can. Again, the fall off is just not great enough at this point. But Hassler is there, and you got to create some point kind of advantage and do something different than someone behind you or someone in front of you. And maybe that means that Evan Hassler decides to take 2 if he sees that the 71 takes 4 tires. So it's Elvis and Parker who have both brought it into the pit lane for service. Parker 2 laps down after the spin. Elvis 1 lap down after naturally coming into the pits. That'll even out when all the other drivers decide to come in. The question is, when? Tanner Berge, we saw him out of turn 2 that time, tagging the wall, and he's got a hot and ready Christian Peterson, or excuse me, Kyle Turzak. Christian Peterson's up in the lead, trying to coast away from Hassler. A hungry Kyle Turzak in 4th place would like to secure that podium spot, possibly.
I heard you say hot and ready. Have you been to Little Caesars today or something?
No, I have not, and I am going to an Italian restaurant tonight, but I am not having pizza this evening.
I gotcha. Yeah. So our producer Morgan just said pizza.
Need some extra sponsorship up in here. CC's Pizza or Little Caesars, whoever you want, everybody.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Look, Papa John's is my favorite, in my opinion.
Yeah, if we're going chain pizza, I'm right there with you on Papa John's.
Battle for third.
Hers.
It's on between the 35 and the 15. Turzak in the 15 on the outside. Tanner Berge in the 35 on the inside. Turzak, he's been slowly making his way through this field. Again, started at the back of this field. Did not set a time for qualifying. I was surprised to see that choice, and I'm not sure why he made that decision.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that either, but with as much of a points cushion as he has right now, maybe he was just thinking, I wonder if I can do it.
Oh, you know what?
Why not?
I know what a possibility of it is. You get a bonus point for the driver that passes the most cars, most positions gained. And this could be Turzak just, I mean, yes, he has a big points cushion, but maybe he was thinking about, hey, just one more point. You never know.
Yeah, if there's any shot you have at getting an extra point, go for it.
So at this point, Gavin, I think we're seeing your probable strategy call playing out as we see another driver, John Leday, bringing it into the pit lane this time, but only a couple of takers we had at the halfway mark at around lap 50, and really one of them was because of a spin, and one of them was naturally coming into pit. That was the 54 of Brandon Elvis. We're getting word as well that Turzak, the reason he started from the rear was that he was penalized for an EOL, and that was from last race, so he could not take a qualifying lap. Thank you, race control, Kyle Adams, for checking us up on that one. I forgot that the EOL was a part of the rule, so I guess that's an error on my end. .59 laps on lap 59. We'll be completing it this time. And it's Evan Hassler right on the rear bumper of Peterson. He's going to have a great run out of turn 4, but it is enough to maybe look low. He'll stay in line, it looks like. And at this point, Gavin, if you're Evan Hassler, are you thinking about making this pass on track or in the pit lane?
Well, I'm watching it. It looks like he's wanting to make it on track because he is right in Christian Peterson's tire tracks. Kyle Turzak's picking up a couple hundredths a lap, nothing crazy, but that ticker just gets smaller and smaller. The gap is just slowly shrinking, and Hassler might just be trying to tell Peterson, let's go as quick as we can right now. Let's go, go, go.
Yeah, black flag for Larson Parker, and he is back into the pit lane, and this could mean that his night could be over. We'll keep you updated on that one. Evan Hassler, this time he was faster that lap by 0.04 of a second, but it's only hundredths being traded in the lap time counter between these two. It's a great run out of 2, but Hassler again is going to choose to stay in line. Lap traffic possibly coming into play as well. 71 of Thomas Dean right up the road from these two. Will Thomas Dean send it up high, or could he cause trouble for these leaders?
Oh, he hit the wall. Looks like he's going to go to the bottom, or he might be trying to take his pit stop right now. Just get out of the way as you're getting lapped. Use this as an opportunity to take your pit stop.
Hit the wall hard out of turn 2. You can see that.
No wonder he's pitting.
Big damage for that 71, and he will bring it into the pit lane. It was already a hard night for Thomas Dean. Before the start of the pit stops, he was running at the rear of this field, and it will not be getting any better after that contact with the outside wall at turn 2. 15 to Brandon Atkinson, 6th place right now. Jake Grout is in 5th. Grout still, looks like that car might be looser now, but I think that might have been after the little tap from the 15 of Atkinson right there, exiting turn 4. But this is not the position Grout has to finish to be able to win the Triple Crown Showdown. He has to finish 3 positions in front of Terzak, and it's not looking like it might end his way this evening.
No, Jake Grout's got to just be getting a little more frustrated and more frustrated every position he loses here. He is fighting very hard on the outside of Brandon Atkinson right now. Watch him keep that car below him pinned down on the bottom as he's going to touch the wall just a little bit at it too.
It's been a very frustrating season for Jake Grout. 3rd in the championship and one of his best runs in his 3 series of competition. And before the race at Lanier, at Lanier, he had finished in the top 5 in every single race. Bristol, it was. He had finished in the top 5 in every single race he had competed in. Bristol finished 9th. Then 1 week ago, he finished 10th. So his 2 worst finishes of the season are a 9th and 10th, but only 2 times has he finished outside the top 5. And even when we saw him on the podium, because we've seen him in 3rd place a plentiful amount of times, as we've got a battle back on for the lead. Hassler going for it, Terzak right there. Grout has just been very upset with this season and saying that we need more because he has not gotten a win yet this season. Terzak, 15, looked 3 wide for a moment. He really thought about it, but he cannot risk any sort of penalty points this week. He's on probation, and he cannot risk anything as he is in the fight for this championship. And it's with that 71 that he's making the pass on right now.
He's going to clear the 71, but just barely. Peterson's going to try to cross him back over here, use the momentum he gets on the bottom. I don't know if he's going to be able to clear. Terzak's going to wash up, though.
So we've seen a lot of this pack really spread out, but the top 4 all together right now here under a blanket. 70 laps complete this time, only 30 to go, and yet we still don't know if these leaders are going to make a pit stop. We think they have to, but we're just not sure.
Everybody's getting back in line single file here. Tanner Berge was about a 2.5 behind these guys. And now that they got to battle in side by side, I think he's got the coolest tires of the 4 of them. And now he's in a pretty good spot moving up to P number 3.
Tanner Berge has been able to hang out, let the 15 of Terzak go by just a couple of laps ago, and has been kind of hanging out right behind these leaders of 3. And he was able to get past the 71 of Christian Peterson. Again, Peterson won last week at Langley, 1st win of the season. He had been, 3rd win of the season, but it had been not since November that he had visited Victory Lane. But it's been just kind of one of those seasons for Christian Peterson. He has been the best of the rest in excluding the 15 of Kyle Terzak. But when it comes to the 15 of Terzak, the last week was the only week that anyone was able to beat him, and that has been the 71 of Christian Peterson. But he's looking for the lead for the first time now, and I don't think he's going to get it before we get to the 3rd quarter mark.
Yeah, we're coming to 1 quarter left in this race. All your cars on the lead lap, that's your top 8. They haven't pitted yet. So
no, they have not.
We're getting close to finding out who can make it, who can't, or if anyone can.
And correction, besides Chris Peterson, the only person be able to beat the 15 of Kyle Terzak, Evan Hassler, he beat him as well, just barely at Lanier, and it looks like it could be one of those battles again between these 2.
Yeah, it's looking that way. Hassler's doing a really good job.
Caution.
We have a caution.
Caution on the racetrack. Michael Wiseman in the 74 having a problem. And it was near the entry of turn 1, and the leaders were fast approaching. We didn't know if he was going to be able to get back going. Watch along with the 74. Just sends it into 1 just above that rubber lane and just gets loose. We saw him fighting a loose condition early on, and this will change the complexion of this race, and this will allow drivers that have already pitted to stay out. This is huge for those drivers that already made their pit stops and stayed on the lead lap. There are none of them.
Yeah,
I'm looking right now.
But some of the guys lap down, they can take the wave around, though.
They can. And right as I said that, I looked over, and right as I'm looking, I'm like, oh, it's no one.
Terzak's not pitting.
No, he's not. Our producer
And everyone else is.
And that is no one. So everyone coming in for what is presumably fuel only. You might see some take right sides, but
if I'm outside of the top 5, I'm taking 4. I mean, you can only lose. If you're outside of the top 5, you can only lose 2 positions. So take 4. Why not?
I like it. I mean, I like the call. If you're Terzak, well, let's see. We saw a Terzak stay out, which I think.
Tires.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I can't believe you stayed out.
Well, I guess now we know that everyone should be able to make it on fuel. So everyone that's pitting, I'm going to assume, is going to take at least 2.
Mm-hmm. I think it's 2 for Jake Grout, 2 for Christian Peterson, 2 for Evan Hassler. See about anyone behind them. Michael Wiseman, he'll take 4.
Oh, now Terzak's going to pit. That's going to cycle him to the back of this group.
And you know what? He probably, and this can happen when you're the leader, the pit lane can open right as you're nearing passing it, because you obviously don't want to enter a closed pit and get a penalty. So I wonder if maybe race control might resolve this, or if it's just going to stay naturally like this, because it will put Terzak back. It'll put him back in, I guess, at 8th after the driver's taking the wave around. That could be a huge deficit and a huge win for the 49 of Jake Grout.
Yeah, Grout and Peterson both are absolutely loving what they're seeing right now. Chasing 2 separate championships. One going for this Triple Crown, one going for the overall championship. They're both loving what they're seeing. Both going to be able to make up several points on Kyle Terzak if the running order holds.
The Terzak looks like he's going to be promoted to 7th at the moment. What?
Coming in hot.
He wasn't looking at his screen for a second.
And that is why you don't text and drive, kids.
If you learn a lesson, let it be on iRacing. It'll be a 7th place starting spot at this restart, and that could be absolutely detrimental. Terzak, he's on probation, so he can't go crazy, and he'll have to work his way methodically through this field. And you said it, it is a huge win for Christian Peterson as well as it is for Jake Grout, both fighting for separate championships, and they're both starting up on the front row. Peterson just has to hold 100-point within to Kyle Terzak to be able to fight this out next week at Stafford, and Jake Grout just has to finish 3 spots ahead of Terzak to win the Triple Crown Showdown. 20 laps remain. Let's send it into 1.
Yeah, I got to thinking, with Terzak being cycled to the back, pitting by himself, there's no reason he wouldn't have taken 4 tires. I assume he did take 4. He did not take 4 tires.
2, it looked like.
That is an interesting decision.
But he's looking 3 wide.
He's going 3 wide.
Wiseman, Tanner Berge up on the outside. Berge will use momentum out of turn 4, but he'll block heavy down into turn 1. That'll open the door here out of 2 for Terzak. Berge up on the high side, now outside lane, and Terzak's gonna roll right on by like it was a Sunday stroll. But Berge, he looks slow, wants to pull the crossover. Terzak looked to block, but he wasn't clear. Now Terzak on the outside.
Yeah, majority of the season, Terzak has looked indestructible, but the last month of the schedule, everyone else has found a little bit of speed. They are racing like they are not intimidated by that number of wins he has this year. That's 9. Everyone else, they said, you know what? We've been racing against you all year. We're going to race even harder here at the end of the season.
Tanner Berge was not afraid, and he did not give the spot up without a fight, but it is fourth position for Terzak, up 3 spots on the restart. It's a battle for second between Grout and Hassler, and while they have battled, Christian Peterson has been able to grow a gap of 0.7 of a second to second place now, Evan Hassler. This could play perfectly into the 71's hands. Grout looking back inside in that bright blue 49, green 38, Evan Hassler on the outside. Hassler was challenging with Peterson early or late in the race before we got our first caution of the evening, but now the gap has grown between them, and here comes Terzak now. Fight back in the rear between John Leday and Brandon Atkinson. It's the fight for 8th. Now back up front, this is Terzak inside for 3rd. Grout not able to get enough, and he's going to slam the outside wall out of turn 2. Would not be surprised if he has wheel damage because of that. And again, he was fighting so hard with the 15 of Terzak because he wants to win that Triple Crown showdown. But again, it's looking like that car in the 49 is just fading. It's just been too tight all evening long.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it right now. It looks like he's got a little bit of damage on the right front. And he's just going to slowly start losing time now, it looks like.
Laps dwindling away for Kyle Terzak and Evan Hassler to march forward and catch up with the 71 of Christian Peterson, but that is not scaring Kyle Terzak whatsoever. Evan Hassler going to try to squeeze him down. They make contact door to door out of turn 2, and Terzak with that contact, Hassler got loose. Terzak will slide right on through.
Yeah, Kyle can take it easy right here. If he finishes second, I think this is a good enough run that he can all but, if not, lock up the championship right here just by running in second. But I don't think he's the kind of guy to do that. I think he's going to push as hard as he can to try to run down Christian Peterson here in the last few laps of this race.
With the points as they stand with the Triple Crown showdown, Kyle Terzak would be the champion. When it comes to the full season championship, we're just not 100% sure. Trying to do best to do our in-race calculations, but we cannot be 100%. We don't want to say with 100% certainty. This is Tanner Berge inside of the 49 of Grout. That's a battle for the 4th spot between them. So Berge back up to 4th. Grout looking back inside, but I don't think it'll pay off for him.
Yeah, Grout's car is just hitting the wall earlier has really hurt his drive off the corner, and I think it's just that right front damage.
I'm trying to do the math right now as we see another battle between John Leday and Michael Wiseman. Leday making a great late charge in this race. He's up to 7th now, so good between them as we see a little bit of more wheel-to-wheel contact. Three wide. Here goes Brandon Elvis. He's going to look low as Grout and Tanner Berge have it out. Here comes the 54 of Elvis. Terzak, he is catching up to Peterson, and if it was to finish this way right now, it would be a 1-point advantage, a 101-point advantage for Terzak, and it just wouldn't be enough to clinch the championship. But if he wins, if he takes this lead away from Christian Peterson, he will not only win the Triple Crown Showdown, but also the overall championship. 3 wide again between these 3.
Brandon Elvis is finally going to be able to clear both of these cars. But Tanner Berge's fighting right back, and Jake Grout's going to send it 3 wide.
Grout, he's not afraid. He knows he's tight. He's going to drift to the racetrack. More contact between Berge and Elvis. Berge, he'll come out on the right side of it. Here we go. Battle for the lead is on with only 5 laps to go. Terzak inside of the 71 of Christian Peterson. Both on the same tire strategy. Peterson gets the wall out of 2. Terzak to the lead. First time today. And here comes Evan Hassler. He's not out of it. Here we go, Leday, Elvis, battle for 6th between these two. 22 Leday, 54 Elvis, white car up on the top. Battles all throughout this field. no matter what. Evan Hassler has been able to get past the 71 of Christian Peterson. And Peterson, he looked so strong all race long, Gavin, but now that pace seems to be dwindling. These four will not give it up. Bergey's been able to get away from it, but now Leday has joined the fight.
Yeah, when you see these guys in front of you battling that hard, you have to capitalize on any lapse in speed of any car around you. And that's what John Leday did there. That is what Brandon Elvis was trying to do earlier when he sent it 3 wide.
All right, Kyle Turzak, this time coming out of 4 to take the white flag. Last season, he won 10 races, a record for the Touring Series, but he missed a couple races and was not able to win the championship. It went to Christian Peterson. Peterson sits second in the championship tonight. But now, leading this race, he'll look to get his 10th win of this season, and now he'll win the Triple Crown Showdown Championship, and with his points lead to Peterson, he'll win the regular series championship. He is your Season 3 champion in the Misfit Racing League, Season 3 of the Touring Series, Kyle Turzak.
What a drive. He also started he started shotgun on the field.
He did. And wow. See a
What a run.
congratulatory bump here. Little rev up for the 71 of Christian Peterson. Peterson did everything he could all season, ran so consistently, but there was just no one throughout a season-long run that could compete with Turzak. We saw Peterson and Hassler able to get a win or two over him, but just when it came to the season-long points and the season-long finishes, Turzak was fairly unbeatable. Gavin, you made a great mention of it, that he was wavering these past couple of weeks, but tonight it looked like he was still wavering, but he showed us and everyone else that no matter what, he was going to come out on top. Kyle Turzak, 10th win of the season, second season in a row that he has put up 10 wins, and he ties his record from 1 year ago, 1 season ago. We'll get to chat with him, your newest Triple Crown Showdown Championship and your Season 3 champion. After we get through the results, he has won. Evan Hassler came up second in front of Christian Peterson. Peterson finished third. Tanner Bergey, after the 3-wide fight with Elvis and Leday and Grout, he finishes up in fourth. Brandon Elvis, what a great late charge for him to finish in the top 5. Grout finishes in sixth. He won't be happy enough with that. It was just short of the Triple Crown Showdown Championship. John Leday, a great charge for him as well, finishes in 7th. Brandon Atkins, fairly quiet tonight, finishes in 8th. Michael Wiseman in the 74 after a spin to bring out our 1 caution, finishes 9th. And Travis Owens, just short on speed this evening, finishes 10th.
Yeah, Thomas Dean and Larson Parker rounded out the field in 11th and 12th. Larson Parker started up in 2nd place, but as you watched, his car was just evil all night long.
So that is all for the results, and that is all from our drivers this evening. And I guess let's go ahead and get into our waiting room. Let's talk to your Triple Crown Showdown champion. Let's talk to your Season 3 of the Misfit Touring Series champion. Kyle, you've accomplished something in one season that no one has. And last season, it was the amount of wins in one season. You beat Jake Sylvia for that record. This season, you still have the opportunity to do it again if you won next week at Stafford. But tonight, you tied that record, but you also won the regular championship for the Touring Series and the Triple Crown Showdown championship in the same season. No one has ever done that.
Yeah, that's pretty special. Adams was actually just talking about that. So, yeah, I had to come for the back there at the start, and I feel like we had to save tire. And I was looking the entire week, and the schedule said no extra set of tires. So when everybody pitted, I was like, "What are these guys doing?" And I saw the extra set of tires, and I honestly thought right there my race was ended. I really thought I couldn't come back for the field, but took that set of tires right there, made some adjustments to it, and somehow I drove for the pack. I felt like that Evan had better center cut than me, but I just had better drive off, and got the Christian there since he wasn't in draft pretty quickly, and I thought Christian. I thought it was going to be me and Christian, but I saw Evan come into play, and it was just all out brawl to then.
Well, the odds were definitely stacked against you tonight with having to start from the rear and then not seeing that the pits were open, that everyone had an extra set. How do you think what made the difference charging on that last restart with 20 to go from seventh to first?
Well, I already did it once, right? So I kind of realized how you had to pass there, and I made a ton of aggressive moves, but I kind of had to. We got two championships on the line and whatnot, but it's just part of it. I know that Tanner was giving me a hard time there, and I got him passed. So that was good to get in front of him and getting Evans draft and go from there.
Well, last week at Langley was the first time you did not finish inside the top two all season long. And just because of everything that went on in the race, had the EOL and just a little probation, did that come into play tonight and how you raced this evening?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
I
I try
figured
to
it made it
race.
harder.
Yeah, it made it harder, but I want to race as clean as possible, right? And when someone hits me, I just get really angry very easily. So I got the best of me, but it's just like I said, part of it. And tonight I saw that. I just try to race as clean as possible. I realized that obviously we got a championship with me and Grout and Christian, but all the rest of the guys are going for each other's points, right? So I just was trying to show respect on all ends in the spectrum, and I feel like everybody gave that back to everyone, and I don't really feel like that. Obviously we had hard racing, but we didn't make contact or any of that.
Well, you made it really easy for me getting to call you to the championship with going up and taking the lead away from Peterson. Anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for the broadcast. Adam's for putting this on. Great season all around. Hot Shot Photography, besides for photos. Ryan Kuhn for the amazing setup tonight. Turns Race on Facebook. Everybody's watching back at home.
Well, congratulations, Kyle. We get to talk to you a lot, and maybe we'll get to talk to you again at Stafford. But tonight, you should celebrate because not only are you the Triple Crown Showdown champion of Season 3, you are also the Season 3 Misfit Touring Series champion.
Thanks, Scott. Hopefully to see you this season. Hopefully coming up soon.
I hope so, too. Good night, Kyle.
Good night.
Kyle Turzak, your winner, and all the other accolades we've gotten to give him tonight. And we will now get to chat with Evan Hassler. I will send him to Gavin Grubbs.
Oh,
Hey,
howdy.
Evan, it's Gavin Scott up in the booth. You got us?
Oh yeah.
You led 40 laps tonight, started in the top three. You stayed there all night long. What was the difference there at the end between first and second place?
When we pitted, I clicked 4 tires. It only gave me 2. Well, I started out, I was gonna just do 2, but I didn't want to get too tight. And then I guess I didn't click 4, so I was just too tight till the end.
Yeah, I got you there. Walk us through some of the moments and what it was like, holding on those 40 laps. Were you saving tires? Were you pushing? What was your game plan, through the middle part of the race leading up to that caution?
I wanted to get the lead as early as I could, just so I
Mhm.
could set the pace and kind of, you know, I'm good when I'm running my own speed and not following somebody, and especially at a track like that where it matters the most. It's all, I guess, tire saving. So I just wanted to get out front and set my own pace and do what I could at the end.
I got you. And we had been discussing all night that if the race went all 100 laps, could everyone make it on fuel, or was there some fuel strategy involved leading up to the caution?
I was completely good on fuel. I don't know about
Okay.
anyone else. Yeah, I
Okay,
didn't
I
take
got you.
fuel
Yeah.
at the stop or anything.
Yeah, I got you. I was just curious. Lastly, do you have anybody you want to shout out or mention here before we let you go?
47 Speed Shop. He gave me the best setup just over the phone. He didn't get to build for this one, so he just kind of told me what to do, and we did the best we could. And Fury Race Cars and Tyler Muller was spotting for me. He's probably the best to ever run MRL and spot for MRL.
All right, thank you. Everybody, that was Evan Hasler, our second place finisher tonight.
Well, and we will get to talk as well to Christian Peterson, who came up third just a couple. So,
What an
Christian
entrance.
Peterson, well, welcome. Welcome to the booth once again. And we got to talk to you just 1 week ago from Langley up at the top step. But this weekend, it seemed like the car just got away from you there at the end.
Yeah, I was really good there when we got tires. Before that, we kind of got lucky there with the yellow. And then I was getting really loose, so we definitely needed that. So, and then Turzak didn't pit, a little bit of miscommunication there. And then, yeah, we fired off really good on the restart, was on the pin for the last 20 laps or so, and just got really tight. I guess, I don't know if I pushed too hard for those 20 laps or just didn't free it up enough, but I thought I did. I thought we had like about a 0.9 or 0.8 of a second gap, and I thought that might be good enough to keep him out of my draft once he got to second. But yeah, they were turning way too good in the center once he got to my inside, and I just got really tight. I think it was 1 and 2, and just I almost plowed the wall. I think I plowed the wall down trying to stay on his outside, but yeah, good race to everybody. I think we had 1 caution, so that was really cool. As big as this track is, and as little power as these cars have, it's like, I don't know, it's still pretty fun. Wish we could get some more cars, but all in all, it was a fun race.
Well, I know that it's going to hurt. It's going to sting that you couldn't go back to back with championships into this 3rd season. But is there any consolation? You're going to definitely finish 3rd, but you and Grout will have to fight next week. There are still points on the line between the two of you.
Yeah, I mean, Turzak's definitely been the class of the field all season for sure. Got lucky last week with his misfortunes, and we had a really fast car. So that was nice. And I thought we were about to strike lightning twice here, 2 in a row, and maybe have a shot at it. But he was just really quick there. Those last 20 laps ran us down. Hopefully we can, Stafford's really good. I like Stafford a lot. Hopefully we can fight Grout there for P2.
Well, Christian, I know you just came up a little short tonight, but I know that 3rd place podium is still good, not what you wanted, but anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, just everybody at Trick, all the guys that work on the setups. Elvis supplied us with a base setup again over at ECR, so thanks to him. It was really fast. Just fell off a little bit there, like lap 65 and whatever. And then all you guys that put on the broadcast at V-Speed, everybody at MRL, Kyle, all the guys that show up for the race and put the show on.
Well, congratulations on another podium.
Thank you, Scott.
That's Christian Peterson rounding out our podium this evening. And Gavin, I know it's a tough pill to swallow because you were in the fight for the championship and you wanted to maybe get another win, but you're just going to have to settle for that 2nd or 3rd place. And sometimes it's just what you have to do.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, not selling Christian Peterson short at all because he's a great driver. That was just a championship performance from Kyle Turzak there, showing us why he won both the Triple Crown Showdown Championship and our regular season championship. He came off a rough week last week, ended up having to start from the rear because of a penalty, cleared his head through all that, knew what he had to do to lock up both these championships, and he went out there and did it.
He went out there, he did it, and did everything he needed to do. 10th win of the season for Kyle Turzak came tonight at Richmond in the Misfit Touring Series season number 3, and it concluded as well our Triple Crown Showdown. He won that championship as well as the regular championship with the Touring Series. I think that's all for us tonight. Check out racemrl.com if you want to join up with the Misfit Racing Leagues. Only one more race to go, and it comes to Stafford next week. No championship on the line, but there are other positions within the championship standings still on the line. So Stafford, it will come down to it. And we are not done just yet. One more race to go. My name is Scott Shive. I've been joined alongside by Gavin Grubbs as well as our producer Morgan Cook. Once again, congratulations to Kyle Turzak on the win and the win for the championship and the Triple Crown Showdown. We'll see you in 1 week's time for the season finale of the Misfit Touring Series Season 3 at Stafford. Good night.